First one is, as a catcher, how can I help a pitcher who slows the game way down? The guy's question got cut off. I think he was trying to keep going with his question. I'm assuming that it was something in relation to slows the game way down when the team has like a little bit of momentum and it kind of just, pops the air out of the balloon. So really good question. I love talking about, like, especially as a pitcher, what things catchers can do that are extremely beneficial for us as well. And obviously having a pops that was a catcher in the big leagues helps a lot too. But for me, it's about the communication from the catcher to the pitcher, right? So the catcher, I would always say, is in the wrong if on that given day, say the pitcher's 15th outing of the season, you blow up on him and talk about his tempo and how it's brutal. That's on you to have not brought that up sooner, right? So the communication of okay, hey man, we need tempo. Our defense gets a little stagnant. Our feet get a little heavy because you're, throwing a ball or you're throwing a pitch every 60 seconds. That's brutal, right? So that needs to be kind of nipped in the bud. And you got to explain to him, the pitcher, why it's beneficial for him to, increase his tempo. Because of, the infield or the defense will make better plays because they're on their toes. Anyone that plays defense loves a guy that works quick. They all don't like a guy that works really slow, right? The game of baseball is already kind of known for being slow. Don't need to help it. Now, the other side to that is the pitcher could be somebody that doesn't do well when his tempo is increased, right? Because everyone's going to have a different perception of what tempo or what quote unquote good tempo is. So if this particular guy just literally can't execute pitches, if he's so focused on tempo, then you guys need to find a happy medium to where he can execute pitches and feel comfortable and the defense could still be on their toes. Now, this is extremely, extremely important because you never want the pitcher, and I know I'm biased, but you never want the pitcher to be uncomfortable out there, right? So as a catcher, I would say another thing that you shouldn't do is almost force that idea of tempo and increasing his tempo in between pitches to him, because now all that's on his mind is I gotta get going. I gotta move faster. I gotta increase my tempo. And you take total train of thought off of his pitch execution. It's a totally different conversation if homeboy's out there working slow, showing bad body language, getting his freaking tits lit, because that needs to be changed up real quick, right? And it's a totally different conversation if he's out there shoving ish down people's throats and throwing a pitch every 30 seconds, right? It's always about finding that balance. Now, especially in regards to a shutdown inning, it is the pitcher's job to go out there and get the boys back in the dugout as quickly as possible to totally deflate the other team. Those shutdown innings, those are huge. So, like I said, every kind of situation, I would say, has its own variables, but I think when it comes down to it, it's about having everyone on the same page, because at the end of the day, the defense would rather you shove than not shove, tits lit, but work quick. Remember how I said earlier how no one as a defender likes a guy that works slow? Well, they won't mind it all too much if you're going out there and you're putting up zeros on a consistent basis. So that's more of an encouragement to pitchers. And as catchers, I would just say it goes back to the communication, right? Get him on the same page with you and kind of outline the importance of tempo, right? But then at the same time for pitchers, it's the same thing back to the catcher. Communication back to him to tell him and let him know I'm trying to do what allows me to be 110% comfortable out there, right? So good question. Hopefully someone could take something from that in whatever position you play. So